the great introduction. So the thing is that, user, that's what, whenever it's coming, we think a lot of things like, either you go for user acquisitions to, make our beautiful game go on the top on the charts, but we never understand the user. Because sometimes we have to understand the user because that's the most important thing we are working for. Like, let me start introduction about Game District. We have a company with like 120 plus million downloads in 2017. We're about like, great games, and we worked with the game company. When we worked with user in mind, we have a certain thing that, 300% more downloads we achieved when we worked with the user in mind. So this is our a little bit of achievement. We started with a two people company. Now we have like a 70 plus employees, three offices worldwide, 120 million downloads, and 3.5 million active users. So these are some of our brand partners, and we work with them. We tell them how to understand their users, and how they can grow from zero to up to anything. So that's one quote we love, or that's our cultural code maybe, that stay hungry, stay foolish. If you don't stay hungry, you'll never either on be a number one. You have to be stay hungry when you are into the mobile gaming industry. So how we done this? That's the one thing that we need to ask. A lot of people ask us that how we done that. So building mobile games, people in mind, it's like these are the basic principles that you when you are building your game, beautifying, coming up with an idea, solution, giving a details to the game and an experience. That's what anyone wants. If you want to develop a game, these are the basic content you have to be play around with your game. So things to understand the game users is like very different, because with a vast range of users from all around the world, because if you upload a mobile game, you have users from the Northeast Asia, from anywhere in the world. So it's very difficult to understand the user what they want, because they're culturally very different. The how they think, perceive about your game is like totally different. Some people like to have a, shooting game, but either some people say, oh, that's not a good game. You have to ban this game. You're playing, children are playing shooting games. That's not good. So you don't know that what kind of game people and what kind of reaction you get to know about with the games. And what is the role of a game designer is, to breaking those barriers and, building structures around them. So discuss the challenges and, what we do is like, to understand our user more, what we do is like we try to experiment more things, like we think that, we collect our game users and, designers in a room and see how they interact with each other. So so first of all we have write down what game designers have in mind when they are planning to make a game. So these are the basic things, like they have concept, objectives, gameplay, game strategy, description of the characters, environment, reward structure, look and feel of the game. That are all those things which game designers have all the time they have in mind. But what user have in mind, that is totally different. They want a great gameplay, okay? The game designers want that same, but they want rewards. They want less ads, less confusion, great art experience, multiple character, and social aspects. That's where we find that there is a big gap in the game users and the game players. So what we have this is the problem we come up with. So there are the target audience group is very different to find out. So specific games, there is no specified games. All of the users have the same kind of problems, and the designers have the same problems. They are not specified. So we wanted to create games from the age 5 to 8 year old, and there we don't have any market data of our users. So what we do is like we do a kids day at our works. We ask all of our employees to take out their kids, their nieces, their niece, and we have a playtime there, and we just play with the kids, and we got to engage with the kids a lot more, who are our real audience. So we have collected some data. Our game designers understand our audience. We have created our data from more than 700 kids all around the world, from Vietnam, Bahrain, San Francisco to Pakistan. So we have diversity in all the cultures. We have good data. And in a month, we create a database on kids' behavior and their approach and their abilities, which is like really great to us. And now we, starting to, set boundaries, what we need to do with our gameplays. So game designing goal, we have created three goals like empathy, playability, and extra, whatever it is. And how to target like user acquisition in the same kind of games, A/B testing, and topics with identification. So who are we dealing with? This is the data we come up with. So there are like four kinds of kids who are going to play our game. So one are the killers. They want to, play and compete with others. We name them killers. And then there's achiever who want to achieve more, more, and more, and more in the games. Explorers who want to, they don't want to play that game. They want to explore more and more. What's new? What is that? What is that? They always want to do, there. And then there is a player who need interaction, who need a lot of interaction. They want to, play around the characters and everything like that. So we make a small word cloud that this is the basic thing we need to have in our games. Like, the biggest thing we wanted to have like achieving. They want achievements because they think it's big. Like a sports to a mobile game, all of us want achievements in our games. And this is the study we have done that what kind of user experience we should have. Like we should have orient, design, use, and promote. These are the four factors we should based and build our games on. And design the right story. That's the most important thing we have planned out when we understand the kids audience. That you have to write design the right story. Otherwise, it's not going to be help out you guys like big. And these are the thing we have to play around. If it's too easy, they are going to get bored. The kids are the one category what we find which are like a very loyal user. They're not like big guys who you're playing your game and they just remove it. If they like it, their retention is going to be big time. So we have to be decided that our game has to fall in the green category where it is a bit difficult for me, but it is not too difficult for me. And we have created these three major uh, things that you have to be understand when you start making games. Number one is suitable complexity. Number two is design for flexibility. And the third one is the clarity of depth. Based on these things, we have started a new game genre. And we have coming up with a character called Toonie Panda. It's a cute character for suitable complexity. What we have understand is that main menu is you don't have to be it don't have to be necessary in the game. So what we come up with a splash screen, boom, you go into the game. No main menu, you don't have to press the play button, you don't have to go for anything else. You're in the game. Designing the UI is and totally to understand because we understand our audience, we like that. So we have an empathy, the panda cry, when it cry, you get so emotional, you get to attach with it. So, and there is a lot of, connectivity because you have to make him sleep, you have to, make him feed. So that's how we get along with him. So design floor flexibility. Once we have like good user base, we think that people are liking it, but not everyone, from China and they love panda. We found out that, our our headquarters from Pakistan, the people don't know panda a lot because panda is, basically a, Chinese animal. So we come up with like different animals like elephant, a small chicken, and then unicorn. now we see that people are taking more interest in our games, and they like Panda too, and now they have like other character who are friends of Panda, and they are playing around together. So it is loved by users. Now we have like 8 apps under our umbrella of this Toonie Panda characters. This is what we call designing for flexibilities and the clarity of their depth. That is very important. Once we see that we have a lot of users coming in, we don't, complex UX at the first point. We wanted to have users first. Once they understand our game, once they, see our games, they are structured and everything, we start adding more things. Different games, different genres, adding a bit complexities and start making videos. Out of this, we have a very, good, results like Facebook connectivity. All of this complexity come up with a very great angle, and now we have like very good growth with all these games. So these are the basic results. When we have like user in mind, we worked with the user. What we have, uh, results are the people asking to more and more characters. Once we add like, more characters, now people are always asking, oh, I love, hippo, you have to add that. Kids, are coming up with us. And 70% of our ratings are like really positive. It's a 5 rating, 4.95 rating. We have increased day 2, day 7, and day 30 retention with adding more value to our game. People ask for cartoon videos now. They wanted to see it as a brand. They love it. They have a very great, relationship with our characters. And that's what we have, achieved with when we have user in mind. The day 2 retention goes from 33 to 40%. From day 7, it's 20% to 29%. And on day 30, we go from 10% to 20%. Our kids are very loyal, become very loyal to our, games, and they love it. So this concludes one thing you have to know that, and you understand when you're creating games, that know your user. That's all. Thank you.
So you mentioned at one point when you were, saying what designers want versus what users want, and you said the users want less ads.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's always true. Like no one, ads are annoying for everyone. Some people are like, okay, I understand why they're there. Some don't. So what do you just modify the ads so that they show up in different places, or do you like put the ads out altogether? But then how do you monetize? Can you elaborate more on that?
Well, the one problem we always face is the best thing you come up with. Like users don't like ads, and game developers, and they wanted to survive, and they wanted to have ads. So one thing what I believe, and what I have experiment with, to create it less ads. I want to make satisfy my user more than to satisfy more my pocket. That's what I start believing in. That if you once you start making your target audience, you're making your brand big, then ad doesn't matter. You have a lot of other ways to start making money. Like now, if I tell you that people are start coming to us, and they want to have the direct advertisements. They don't want, they just want Panda t-shirts now. If I tell you one thing that, Angry Birds has made like overall in terms of money circulation, they have made like about $2.5 billion through ads, but they have made tons and tons of money from their merchandising and from their, films and their contracts and everything. So ads is big, and it is very good to, start with the ads at the first thing. But if you wanted to grow your brand, you have to think for the users first. If they don't want that, okay, we should go with the less ads. That's all.
Okay, thank you. And also, it's sort of again tied to monetization because there's always the outcry of monetizing to kids, right? You're making kids spend all their parents' money, and we've heard it all a million times. So how do you sort of make that balance? How do you, at the same time protect the kids and monetize?
So the major goal of creating the games for the kids is like to understand their parents too. Sometimes they don't want kids to play their games. So we are planning to come up with more games with the Toonie Panda character, where we'll have three basic rules of those games. There will be play, explore, and learn. So there will be the games where you learn, where you'll explore, and there you'll play around. So I'm sure those games will be like parents giving to their children, and they say, okay, play for that game for 2 hours. So that's our goal is. So the basic thing with the monetization method you ask for that if the game is good, if kid is going to be learn something out of it, parents have don't I don't see they mind paying for that app, and with they go that out with the no ads thing. So that will never be a big issue with us. The only issue we have right now to make a great game and make games with user in mind. If you balance that out, then any other things will never matter to us.
Perfect. Thank you
Yeah,
very
thank
much.
you.
Okay, thanks. Very interesting because now you have to design for two users, for the parents and for the kids, and to convince the parents that it's good for the kids, and then design for the kids so that it's fun for the kids.
Well, the thing is, the way
Who is the user?
the user is always the kids, but if we go like 5 7 years ago, then the parents have to download games for their kids. But now over like a 3 years old know how to use Google Play and how to use iOS. They are swiping everywhere, and they know how to download a game. So I just given you an example. When we have a invitation of kids in our studio, so the one thing they come up, there is a kid. He said, "Okay, I don't like panda. I don't like it. I like dog." So we are telling him, okay, the dog is good, but our game has panda. Okay, he said the icon I'll only download. So we have created like 5 7 icons. He said, okay, I don't like these icons. So they say on icon it has to be a dog. If it has a dog on the icon, and when I get into the game and it has panda, it's okay. But I want a dog on the icon. So we come up with something like this. We don't understand that. As a mature game designers, we don't understand that. But that kid is and when he was saying, I find out like 5 6 kids start doing that. Okay, we want a dog in the icon, and we were like confused how we can do that. So one now we have starting making a dog character around the panda, and we are making him his friend too. But when the parents are like straight. If they see that it's a panda, they download the game for their kid. But our major user is always the kids. It's not their parents. You know. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sal.
Thank you.
Please, a big round of applause.
Thank you.